Hi, good afternoon everyone. So this is the first of my live flower workshops in a mini series of home floristry workshops where really I'm going to teach you kind of the most basic skills of floristry, but in order to actually create the most beautiful arrangements from your home. So everything that I'm going to teach you, you can literally do from your garden. You don't need any previous experience, any specialised equipment. It's really just to kind of give you a bit more inspiration, especially at times like these when everyone's kind of confined. As I said yesterday, sort of wherever you're based in the world, it really doesn't matter. You can either actually participate or just watch and get some tips. It's really up to you. Whether you're in the city or if you're fortunate enough to be in the countryside, hopefully you'll find it sort of a bit more inspiration actually wherever you are in the world. So today we are going to learn how to do a spring hand-tied, literally from the contents of the garden. Now, as I say, sort of actually yesterday you may have seen I did kind of like an introduction video as to what sort of ingredients you'll need. As I say, everyone's ingredients will be different because everyone's kind of got sort of different things growing in the garden. But that's really the beauty of these flower workshops. It's really to show you that you'll be surprised at what you can create with such little ingredients. So I will start off by, if you have your ingredients and you're actually participating, the best thing to do, I always think, is you lay all your ingredients out so you can see exactly what stems you've got. So I'm going to start with the foliage, which I collected yesterday. So I'm going to start with the ficus, which is from my mum's tree. Lay that out in front of me. I'm then going to lay out my flowering viburnum. So really, it's more important, I think, to get the foliage so you know exactly where it is. Otherwise, everything gets a bit tangled. And also, by laying out all the flowers by stems, you can kind of make sure that you get an even spread of the flowers in your arrangement as well, so you know exactly what you've got. So I've got my ficus, my viburnum, and then going to lay out my spirea, which is the kind of spindly blossom, which I was speaking to you about yesterday, so any kind of blossomy bits. And I've got my rosemary. It's all a bit squished actually here, but I'm going to put that there. So here I have all my foliage, I know exactly what I've got, I know exactly how many stems. So now, actually for the flowers, I have my fresh daffodils, which I collected this morning. I've got my narcissi here, which I'm going to lay out. I don't know if you guys can see, but I'm just laying it all out here. Daffodil. I have the summer snowflake, which is my favourite flower at the moment. It's absolutely beautiful, really, really long stems. And you'll notice this as well, which I mentioned yesterday, I've actually collected the leaves as well, because these can add kind of texture and a bit more height in an arrangement. And then I've got my hellebores, which are here. These are actually one of my favourite flowers. I'm still trying to find a way of making these last sort of longer than 2-3 days in water. I think it's because the water, when they have a branch like this, which comes off, I think the water actually struggles to get to this guy, so they droop very easily. So quite often if I pick them the night before, I'll have to wrap them in brown paper so the stems are kind of actually vertical, if that makes sense, just to make sure that water actually gets to all the flower heads. Right, I am going to start. So I'm hopefully going to go at a pace that everyone else can sort of actually join and actually make with me. But you want to start with your tallest bit of foliage. So here I have a bit of flowering viburnum. Now any leaves, a lot of these leaves, because they're natural from the garden, they have lots of holes in. So just take off any leaves that aren't very nice, are turning a bit brown. Really, you want to hold it, if you're right-handed, you want to hold it in your left hand, and you don't want any leaves below that holding hand. So I'm going to put 2 bits of foliage. This is kind of like, if you have any floppy bits, you kind of want to sort of keep those in the middle. And really, there isn't any kind of set way. So, you know, as I'm going along, if you want to add a few extra bits in, or kind of create, have some flowers high, there's no really real set technique. This is all about you having your own flair and putting your own style on it. So feel free to kind of use your own creative input as we go along. So what I'm going to do is more of the linear flowers I'm going to put in the middle, because the shape of a hand tied isn't flat, it's round. So you want your tallest flowers in the middle. You're also going to pick your focal flower, so your favourite flower. It's normally the flower with the biggest head, so in this case I'm going to use a daffodil. And what you want to do is every time you lay a stem over, I don't know if you can see, you want to lay it at an angle, like that. And hold it quite loosely, don't strangle the flowers, just hold it actually really, really loosely. So what we want to create is the focal flower, so when you're looking down at it, that's the main one you see, and then a layer of foliage. So I've got foliage on this side, so I'm going to turn it, and I'm going to put some more foliage on this side as well, just to balance it. Now the key when doing a hand tied is it has to be seen from a 360 angle. So when I'm holding it like this, once you put a stem in, you have to twist. And I always work in threes. So you'll see here with the spirea, I've got 1, I've got 2, I've got 3. So essentially we have the base of foliage with 1 flower in. Now we're just going to work our way around. So now I'm going to add in another layer of flowers. So I'm going to put in a hellebore. Again, anything with quite a branchy stem, quite a thick head, put in the middle, because otherwise if you put them on the outside it can look quite compact and clumpy. So I put a hellebore there, twist. Now these bits are drooping, which is fine, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a flower this side to hold that up. So I've got another hellebore to balance it. I'm just going to put him like that. Twist. Always have the flower that you're putting in front of you, putting on an angle. Now I'm going to put another hellebore in, because I always work in threes in floristry, you never work in even numbers. I'm going to put it in and twist. So at any point, the most important thing is just to stop and kind of look at your bunch and think, okay, where are the gaps, where do I next need to start? So we've actually done a layer of flowers. Now I'm going to put in some more foliage. So I'm actually going to add in some rosemary, some taller bits of rosemary. So here I have this sprig which I picked from the garden. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull off, if I can show you, I'm going to pull off all of the leaves from the bottom, so there's nothing below the stem. So all of this should be stripped of leaves. Okay, so that side's now looking quite flat, so I need something to bring it out. So I'm going to start actually putting my daffodils in, because they have really long stems. And also, watch the curve of the flower as well. So this has a natural curve this way, so I'm not going to put it in, I'm going to put it out. So everything is facing out, so when they're in a vase, the flower heads can really speak for themselves and you can see them. So this is still looking quite flat, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add another bit of foliage. Ficus. Just adds a bit more texture, again taking off any leaves, making sure there's nothing underneath there. I'm going to put in another daffodil, I think, just because I think it needs it. I'm going to stop and I'm going to look at what it needs. So now I'm going to put in, actually this side is quite empty. You'll see here I have the daffodils, but this side's empty. So I'm going to put another one in this side, actually just to balance it. So now this side it's looking a little bit bare, so I'm going to take a taller bit of foliage and kind of add it in. It's really a case of kind of looking at sort of actually what it needs. My kind of general rule of thumb is a layer of flowers, a layer of foliage, a layer of flowers, a layer of foliage, but it doesn't always work like that. So here I need some more foliage. I'm going to put actually Oops, it's dropping down. I'm going to put some more rosemary. The rosemary is fantastic if you get kind of some really, really good stems, because it's actually quite hardy. It's quite kind of, it sort of actually bulks it out, and it has an amazing, amazing scent, especially when it's flowering as well. So I'm going to put another bit of rosemary here. Again, always working in threes, so you're kind of working in triangles. So here I've got 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to twist. So this leaf is kind of drooping, so I'm going to now put my narcissi in. So I'm going to go 1, twist, 2 on an angle, twist, and I'm going to put in the last one. There we go. Now, I'm always going to bring it down and see what else it needs. I think it needs a bit more height on this side. So I'm going to get some more spirea. Well, this is actually viburnum. Put it this side. And then I think it needs a bit more height this side as well. As I say, keep the hand really, really relaxed. Don't scrunch up the flowers. If you do that, the flowers will become really rigid. They won't be able to speak for yourself, and you won't be able to see the form properly. Taking off any leaves. So right in the middle, you'll see I did start with a focal flower, but it's now moved, so the middle now looks empty. So what I always do is halfway through I check, and I think, right, I need another flower there. So if that happens, it's no stress at all. Just take another flower, loosen the grip, and just slowly poke it through until you have one in the middle like that. And keep the one in the middle as high as possible as well. So as we're working around the bunch, we're thinking about the form and the shape, so we don't want all our stems to be the same height. As we're working around, we need to start bringing the flowers down. So, shorter stems, so I don't know if you guys can see this, but I will show you a daffodil. We've got to see a daffodil. So instead of it putting here, I'm going to put it slightly lower. Because once it's in a vase, you want the flowers to come down all the way around. So I'm going to put it there, twist. Now I've got this side. Mine's looking a bit crazy actually. A bit more crazy than I was thinking about. And I'm going to put this daffodil, not here, here, if you see. Because when the vase level's here, you want the flowers to be a whole 360 angle. And twist. So here, there's a gap. There's a lot of greenery, a lot of stems. It's a bit ugly at the moment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get another daffodil, and I'm going to bring that there. Again, always make sure the flowers speak for themselves. So don't be scared. You know, I always think arrangements are nicer when there are slightly uneven stems. Some are slightly longer, some are slightly shorter. So always feel free, if you're looking at it, to kind of, you know, actually bring that up a bit, or actually bring that one out a bit, you know. It's really entirely up to you. I've got a shorter bit, again, because now we're actually bringing the flowers down. So you want to slowly put them in an angle around the side. So I'm going to put another narcissi, because that's a short stem, so that can go down there. I've got another bit of ficus, which would be great. Again, it's a short stem, so I can just tuck it in underneath. Okay, I'm now going to stop because I haven't looked for a while, and I'm going to put the bunch down. I'm going to think, where is it missing? So if you'll see on my camera, here is actually really kind of lacking flowers. So I'm going to turn that, so the problem area is facing me. I'm going to look down, and really it's just a case of actually filling in the gaps. So I think it needs something there. So loosen your grip slightly, and then you can fill any gaps. So here, again, it's looking kind of very green and very stemmy, not very many flowers. So I'm going to bring another daffodil.